warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Kaisa Sabila and today we're having Dian Didaktika Youth Festival 2022. Ladies and gentlemen and my non-binary pals, welcome. We're having two competitions this afternoon and there's also storytelling and also speech. And let us welcome our two beautiful judges behind closed doors. There's Miss Apri and also Miss Dini. And I hope you guys will like it and I hope you guys will enjoy this opening for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I'm nervous. Who's the first one?
Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. What is a hero? And what does it take to become one? Hi, my name is Kalifiza Prega from 11 Science 3, and today I want to share how I became my own hero in my story and how you can become one in yours too. You see, when I was a kid, I loved to watch superhero series like Ben 10. I even owned his watch, the Omnitrix, and roleplayed him as a kid. But that was all just the fantasy of a 6-year-old kid. But let's go to the reality here. Fast forward to 13-year-old Caliph living his life in Germany. I mean, school was easy, life was easy. I was growing up with friends, waking up late, and even playing the PS4 24/7. My mom would tell me to stop and do my homework. Although I did do the homework, but that was just that. My grades were average, some even below. And I was a lazy kid, and I wouldn't consider myself productive in a workaholic sense. Years came by, and nothing really happened. I was the same old caliph, and until the moment of realization came and punched me in the face. I had to go back to Indonesia. I mean, a part of me thought it was okay. I was okay with the fact, knowing I got to go and meet new friends and meeting my big family again. But another part of me knew that things would be different. My life would change. And I knew I had to adapt to a new environment and change for the better. Fast forward to 15-year-old Caliph living in Indonesia and still trying to adapt. I realized that adapting wasn't as easy as I thought it would. A lot of things changed drastically. With school, it was harder. I had less friends, and I had some difficulties with some words in Bahasa Indonesia. But I accepted the challenge and took it as an opportunity to become better. Just as Joseph Campbell said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." I took this challenge and as an opportunity to become better. Compared to my life in Germany, I didn't have a lot here in Indonesia. I didn't have the same riches, the same friends, or the same level of easiness in life. I was procrastinating here and there, and I knew that I had to face the evil within before I could face the other life challenges. With that in mind, I became better by making new friends, being more active in school, and joining school organizations. For instance, I saw an old Fujifilm camera laying around in the house. At the same time, offices were opening their doors for new organization members. At the time, I didn't have any photography or videography knowledge, but I saw this as an opportunity and I took it. I submitted the form with hopes of becoming a new member of the documentation division. Before I knew it, I got accepted and I was chosen to become head of documentary division. I knew that the title would come with much more responsibilities. And with that in mind, I started to watch YouTube videos on how I could become a better leader and how I can become a better photographer by taking good photos and videos. I slowly increased my skills and knowledge by working projects and taking videos and photos of school events. I earned my way around the top of school. I earned my name that is getting more spread out throughout school. And just like Ben 10, I transformed myself to become a better person and defeat my enemies. Fast forward again to the present, and here I am, having 3 head of division titles, become the director of Diorama 8, having a lot of friends and being well known in school, and becoming a candidate for the head of OSIS. I would gladly say that I've changed my life drastically. That's why I am my own hero in my story, and you can be too. Identify your weakness, leave your comfort zone, and conquer your inner self, as our worst enemies are ourselves. It doesn't matter if you aren't rich, or you don't have enough knowledge, or you don't have the proper facilities to do something. But just as Batman said, it's not who you are underneath, but it's what you do that defines you. Take the leap of faith and become better. My name is Khalif, and that's how I became my own hero in my story. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I hope all of you have a great day today. Before I start, please let me introduce myself. My name is Aurin Zafirifa Rafianto, and you can call me Aurin. I'm from 11th grade. Today, I would like to tell you a story about one of Indonesian national heroes, and that person is General Sudirman. General Sudirman is one of our national heroes that I admire the most. So I hope I can share a little bit of his story to you all. General Sudirman was born in Rembang, Central Java. He was the military commander of Indonesian forces during the country's fight for independence from the Dutch in the 1940. During the Japanese occupation of Indonesia, he joined PETA. It was the national army promoted by the Japanese. He got his first military education there. After that, he was elected to be battalion commander at Kroya. After Indonesia reached their independence, he succeeded in disarming the rest of Japanese soldiers at Banyumas. In December 1945, he got the honor to be the general. And the most important thing is, he didn't gain his general position through military academy or else, but because of his loyalty. Can you imagine how loyal he was that his loyalty can give him such a great honor like that?
During much of the next 5 years, he was sick with tuberculosis, but he still led several guerrilla actions against the Dutch. At first, the president, Mr. Sukarno, didn't allow him to lead the guerrillas. Sukarno asked him to stay in the city, but he didn't do what Sukarno said because of his responsibility as a leader. This is the best part of his life that makes everyone adore him a lot. He ignored his health for the freedom of Indonesian people. Then, with all the power he still had, he departed from the city to lead the guerrilla war. It was like 7 months. He moved from one place to another, from mount to mount in his sickness, while he didn't have any medicine at all. But he always said to his soldiers to keep up their spirits and instructed them like there's nothing wrong happening with himself. But finally he got to leave the war area because he could not lead the soldiers directly with himself in the field anymore because he was sick. But he was a great person, the soldier needed him. So, although he cannot see the Dutch face to face, still his thoughts are always needed. General Sudirman died in January 1950. When he was 34 years old, he was buried in Heroes Cemetery in Maki, Yogyakarta. He received the title of National Hero of Indonesia as Independence Defender Hero. There is a monument of him at Sudirman Road, Central Jakarta. For me, he is the best national hero Indonesia has ever had. At the end of my story, I would like to share the General Sudirman's famous quote, "Tear my body apart, cut this body into pieces, but my soul is protected by a red and white fortress. Will live still demand defense whoever the opponent I will face." Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy my story. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wave Beats Music.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Muhammad Fasham Bujantoro from 12th grade, Social Major 1. I hope you all are doing well within the comfort of your space. And today, in this youth festival, I would like to tell a story of a hero. And of course, we all know what a hero is. But then, a hero is based off of our own perspective. So this story is what I made up based off my own perspective. And this is the story of how Mountain Galdhøpiggen got its name. So once upon a time, there once had lived a giant that was kind and lived the rest of his days just like any normal person. But the people, farmers and villagers alike, they were feared. And the giant was pretty lonely. The giant always liked helping others as part of his daily activities, be it animals, other creatures, and even humans too, despite that they are feared by him. One day, there was an avalanche coming down from the mountain. The people in the village near the mountain started to panic, thinking that they are doomed. The giant was strolling around and saw this trouble. And he hurled in to stop the avalanche with his big body. And as the avalanche stopped, the fog was thick. No one could see what was going on. The village was trying to see what's going on up in that mountain. And then the fog started to fade away. Then they see a huge figure. They were confused what it was. And out comes the giant with a smile, a happy face, a friendly face. But then the villagers, the farmers, they shout, "Giant!" They got scared and scrambled and ran away and fled. Because of this, the giant got a bit upset and he went on his day like usual. Few days later, people had gotten news of a village that was running dry on water because of a river that had its flow stopped. The giant hears about this and thinks that he should help the village. So he prepared and set out for the village. After some time, he has found where the village resides, and next to it is a dry river. The giant instantly knew that the river is the village's main water supply, so he followed along the stream. And after a while, the giant saw a huge boulder that was blocking it. He then lifted the boulder with his immense strength and got the river flowing again naturally. He followed along the water as it flows down back to the village. People were cheering, but then the mood suddenly changed as the giant came there. People started screaming, and another one shouted, "Giant!" And they all started scrambling again, just like the previous village, and fled to nowhere. The giant got a bit upset, as he did just like the previous day. And so he went home and rested up for the night. A few days have passed, and the people wondered about how all the issues were resolved. They soon realized that the same giant had been appearing every time all those issues were fixed. One of the villagers said, "The old giant lad's been helping us this entire time. We've been scared of him for naught. You should find him and thank him for what he's done for us." One day, Dian was going about his usual activities, going around the land, until he saw something unusual. A group of villagers, the same group of villagers that were afraid of him, the one that kept running away. He was confused. But then as soon the villagers and farmers got to the giant, they said, "Giant, we don't know what to call you, but we would like to express our gratitude for what you have done for us this entire time. I would like to apologize for us being so scared of you every time." Ken had a huge smile upon his face and chuckled. Oh, it's no big deal at all. Please, call me Kaldopigan. I'm doing this all of the kindness from my heart," said the giant. The Eldon shook hands with the giant as they expressed their thanks. "So, Kaldopigan, do you want anything from us? The least we could do after you're done for us is help you out with something." Kaldopigan chuckled and said, "Oh, my days are numbered, and all I wish for is to be accompanied and live out my last moments atop the highest peak in this land." After they all agreed to help out Kaldopigan, they started a long journey atop the highest mountain, atop the peak in the land. And there he was, Kaldopigan, the giant, rests peacefully on top. And as they all expressed their last gratitude towards him, he rests between the snow and falls asleep. In honor of the giant, everyone named the mountain after his name, Kaldopigan. The story, that was all from the story for me. I hope that gave a bit of insight to you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Anindya from 10-5 class, and now I want to tell you about the story I just made this morning, and it's called Anita the Dalit. Hi, I'm Anita, a 16 years old Dalit girl, has no parents, no education, no work, and it's all just because I'm a part of Dalit. Everybody around the world fight for humans' rights, but where's the right for us, Dalit? Just because we are on the lowest caste, are you even aware of our presence? Once? Well, that are some point of my speech in the front of public in New Delhi. 2 months ago, they broadcast it on the television, published it in a newspaper. They all were shocked. A weak 16 years old girl could fight for her own rights, her caste rights. 2 years ago, I knew a friend. Best friend. Rajput his name, such a lively, handsome boy. His family keeps moving until they found my village, the slum village in the banks of Ganga. If only he wasn't born from a Dalit, he wouldn't die in a young age. There's a school in the south of our village, and Rajput, he met a Vyasya boy there, and he liked to ask for their study material to give it to any children in our village. He would give it under the big only tree here every 4 in the afternoon. On Monday, we got math, Tuesday, science, and so on. Until 6 months later, he got caught by one teacher in the school. He was humiliated. He got kicked until he ran out of his blood. He died. But how about the student boy? He just got a warning letter from that school. It burns me up so much. I know Rajput was illegal for sneaking into that school, but it wasn't proper for them to treat Rajput that badly. Rajput is the reason why now I fight for Dalits. A week after Rajput's funeral, I went to that school for campaigning the Dalits' rights. I was sneaking into the teacher's room. My fate was almost the same as Rajput's, but fortunately, the securities came separating me and those teachers. The teachers brought me down to the hall, and I didn't know where we were going till I saw the Wall magazine. There was an article about Dalits. It was insulting, berating, and degrading us. I couldn't hold my anger no more. I took that article, stabbed my foot, screaming in the middle of the hall. How dare you make this insulting article? Isn't it cornering on one side? Didn't you guys learn that? As you know, we Dalits can be this insult because of you all. If this society didn't treat us contempt, if this society give us a proper education, if this society... I can hold my tears. I just came home crying. I saw some people look at me sadly, but no few also laugh at me and look at me disgust. A week later, someone came to me and asked me to have a speech in New Delhi. Turns out, there was one student who was recording me while I was shouting at the hall, in purpose to degrading me. However, who thought it was going viral on social media, and some televisions wants me to invite me to their show also for helping me to get the rights of Dalit. After I gave that speech, I came back to my village and everybody welcomed me. They put their smile, which I miss very, very much. I realize I'm their only hope now, and from today, I want to be their hero to let go of this caste system. That's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the two judges are sit one in front of me, and good morning to the people who are watching right now. I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Salsa Fida Harjanto. You can call me Salsa from 10-3. And today I am going to deliver you guys a story about Raden Ajeng Kartini. So ladies and gentlemen, here is the story of Era Kartini. Once upon a time in the city of Jepara, there was born a beautiful baby from Japanese royal family. Her name is Kartini, who had a long name Raden Ajeng Kartini. She is the daughter of a duke who later became regent of Jepara, Raden Mas Adipati Aryo Sosroningrat. The mother of Kartini is Ngasirah, the first wife of Sosroningrat, who worked as a teacher in a school at Telukawur, Jepara. My wife, look at our child. She is so beautiful, just like you. Yes, she is so charming. May God make her loyal to her family and be useful for a lot of people. Yes, definitely my wife. She will be useful for many people. Little Kartini grew into a cheerful girl. She played with others like she grew up in a royal family. But when she was 12 years old, she was prohibited from continuing her studies in Europe's large school, where she also learned Dutch. The prohibitions to pursue the ideals of her schooling comes from her father, because at this time she was a girl who was 12 years old and she must undergo seclusion. May I apologize, my father, for disturbing you? I want to ask something for you. It's okay, my dear. What do you want to ask? Sorry, my father. Would you tell me why you won't let me go to school? My dear, you're now 12 years old and it's about time you do seclusion. This is already customary. You must follow the rules. I'm sorry, father, but I still want to go to school. I would have missed them, my teachers. I still want to learn and I still want to play with my sisters, Rekmini and Kardina. You have to follow the rule. Do you dare to oppose our custom? Because there was no power on her against the wishes of her father, young Kartini resorted to do the seclusion. However, young Kartini still want to seek knowledge, explore her curiosity, and still want to be useful for many people. During the seclusion, she wrote letters to her Dutch friend to gain the knowledge of Europe concerning rights as humans, especially women. I have to fix my life. Even though I do not currently have the right to argue, at least the other woman doesn't have to suffer like me. And I should start it by writing a message to Rosa Abendanon. Since that time, relationship between Rosa and Kartini were continuously. Rosa Abendanon also often sent books and newspapers from Europe to young Kartini. In the European newspaper told that women have the same position to achieve their rights, while in Indonesia, women are at a very low stratum. Rosa, you're such a best friend, but it seems like it's not quite enough if I just learned it from Rosa. I had to share this to the other woman. After doing the seclusion, she married with a regent of Rembang named Duke Aryo Singgi Jojo Adiningrat over the choice of her parents. However, her husband strongly supported her ideals and even allowed Kartini to build a women's school. My husband, sorry if I'm disturbing you. If I may ask, as the Duke's wife, do you allow me to build a school for a woman? Kartini, if that is your wish, I will make it come true. Thank you so much. Kartini is blessed with one son named Sosali Dojoningrat, but sadly, Kartini passed away on her 25 years old, her last 4 days after giving birth. The Kartini struggle did not stop even after her death. The struggle continued by her friend Rosa Abedanon, who posted both letters into a book. The book was entitled Door Distern Tot Lich, which means from the darkness into the light. Afterwards, Kartini recognized not only a hero determined to fight emancipation of women, but also a nationalist figure with new idea who struggled for independence. Never give up as long as you want still to try. Don't let the regret comes because you are one step away from winning. That is all. I hope this story will inspire you, and thank you so much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, morning, guys, girls, and my non-binary pals. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. Today, let me tell you a story, a lore tells all this time, a lore that has bloodshed, the purest heart, lust, affairs, and also gods. Let me tell you the story of the Greek god Persephone, the goddess of infertility. Once upon a time lived a young maiden who lived inside the realm of the humans. And this year is her debut season. She was a beautiful maiden, pure as always, even her body. She was a virgin and haven't had anyone touch her, even men never talks to him. Day by day, there's a debut party inside of Zeus' palace. Men start flocking around, flocking. And why? Because she was a beautiful maiden and a virgin. And after that, a most bachelor that everybody wants, Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. Not only a god, he was one of the king of the realm. He was flushed and he was applause seeing him, and her sight, her beauty, and her virtue was flocking. But all the goddess inside of there were trying so hard to make her embarrassed, humiliated her, and trying so hard to convince all the men were trying to talk to her. She was poured inside of a wine, and her dress were ripped into shreds. She were appalled. She never lived inside of this kind of community. She only lived inside of the purest heart with her mother, Demetrius. And she started crying and leaving the castle with tears in her eyes. And then there's a man following him, and he was Apollo. He was her older brother, best friend. She was thankful. She was like, "Thank you for helping me." And Apollo was so kind, was so gentle, helping him inside of her house. But let me tell you the inside of him. He just wanted her body. One by one, piece by piece, her clothing was fall off. She never knew What does that mean? And one by one, she said no. Her heart was shattered. Why am I doing this? Why am I naked? And Apollo said, it's okay. I know you're not a virgin. I know you did all this stuff. And Apollo leaves with her big wings saying that I'm the prince of this world and I can do anything that I want. And she were left inside of her heart, shattered, and she were enraged. She were angry. Her wrath is burning inside of her heart. She was appalled. Is this what men do? Is it what women should put up with? She was sobbing. She was crying her eyes out, and she were trying to walk into the river of the gold. And there's a person peeping in, and there was him, the king of the underworld, Hades, her soon-to-be lover. He consoled her and asked her, why are you crying, my dear Persephone? And she was so appalled, and she was trying to ask, why are you doing this? Is there anything you want from me? Her naivete was gone. Her speech was stuttered, and she was sad and broken. Her anxiety was kicking in, but Hades were helping her inside of his arm. And he says, it's okay, let's go to my house. Day by day, they spend every single day inside of her realm. He was so nice, he was so gentle, he never touched her inappropriately. And then Apollo strikes again, telling his dad that his brother is cheating with her girlfriend, and then Persephone were banished from the world of the god. He was kicked back to the realm of the humans without any of her power. Day by day, depressed, the underworld was unscrambled, and also all this time both of them were separated, and Hades started to lose her mind and lose to Kronos, and also Persephone trying to lies inside of her heart, and she crawled back to the dead realm. She was understandably furious what happened to him. He was dead inside of his own realm, and he fought herself crawling, swimming inside of the dead sea. And then she met her lover, dead on her bed, with his dad killing him and her killing his dad. That's this lore and the crazy story of the goddess and the queen of the underworld, Persephone. And why do I choose her to be my hero? Because she's a naive girl. Everyone has that naivete. Sometimes as a girl, you need to be harsh. The world isn't going to be nice to you. The world wants something from you. In the end of the day, just be safe. And that's the lore of Persephone. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, the honorable judges, my fellow participants, teachers, and all my friends. Here, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Naisha Aida Nuriza. You can call me Aida. Today, I'm going to deliver you a story about one of the national heroes determined to fight for women's rights in Indonesia. Can you guess? Well, before I start, I would like to show you a picture. You know who is she? Yes, she is Raden Ajeng Kartini. And now, I'm going to tell you a story about Raden Ajeng Kartini. And the story goes like this. Once upon a time, in the city of Jepara, there was born a beautiful baby from Japanese royal family. Her name is Kartini, who has a long name Raden Ajeng Kartini. She is the daughter of a duke who later became regent of Jepara, Raden Mas Adipati Aryo Sosroningrat. Little Kartini grew into a cheerful girl. She played with others and she was allowed to study in a primary school until when she was 12 years old. She was prohibited from continuing his studies in Dutch primary school called ELS. The prohibition to pursue the ideals of her schooling comes from her closest person, her father, because at the time she was a girl who was 12 years old and she must undergo seclusion or dipping it in her own house. I apologize if I am disturbing you, my father. May I ask something for you? It's okay, my dear. What do you want to ask? Sorry, my father. Would you tell me why you won't let me go to school? My dear, you are now 12 years old, and it's about time you do seclusion. This is already customary. You must follow the rule. I'm sorry, father, but I still want to go to school. I would have missed my teachers and my friends, and I still want to learn more and play with my sisters, Rukmini and Kardina. You have to follow the rule. You dare to oppose our custom? Because there was no power on her against the wishes of his father, young Kartini resorted to do the seclusion. However, young Kartini still wanted to seek a proper knowledge, explore their curiosity, and still want to be useful for many people. During the seclusion, she wrote letters to her Dutch friends to gain the knowledge of Europe concerning rights as human beings, especially women in accessing their education path. It seems to be interesting when I started to write a letter to my friend Rosa Abendanon to share her knowledge to me. Since that time, the relationship between Rosa and Kartini were continuously. Rosa Abendanon also often sent books, magazines, and newspapers from Europe to young Kartini so that her thinking became more advanced. Rosa, you're such a good friend to me. Well, it seems not quite enough if I just learn from Rosa. I heard to share this with other women. They should know this. Thank you. Yes, you may. I think if you can share it to other women, you will also help them to increase their knowledge. After that, Kartini asked her sister Rukmini and Kardina to read and explore more knowledge from books that she obtained before. Then, they were started to spread their knowledge to other women by teaching about basic language and alphabet to little girls and younger adults in village and provide them with basic knowledge that will be useful. They were more confident. With their father's permission, they were allowed to invite and teach girls to learn reading and writing. Come on girls, come on, sit down there. Well, today we will study about Dutch alphabet. This is the Dutch alphabet. The first letter is capital A and this is A. They gave their region a reason to strive for more. But when it was time to get married, they could not oppose it. Kartini was married with a regent of Rembang named Duke Aryo Singgi Jojo Adiningrat over the choice of her parents. Kartini then asked permission to her husband to open a women's school. My husband, sorry if I am disturbing you. If I might ask, as the duke's wife, do you allow me to build a school for a woman? Kartini, if that is your wish, I will. Thank you, my duke. During her marriage, Kartini blessed with one son named Susali Jojoaningrat. Dear friends, unfortunately, Kartini passed away young at her 25 years old, her last 4 days after giving birth. Even though Kartini's struggle did not stop even after her death, she inspired so many people. She was not only a hero determined to fight for women's rights in Indonesia, but also a figure with new ideas who struggled for independence. That's the story about Raden Ajeng Kartini. From the story, we can learn that women should not be looked down upon. Basically, all human beings have the same human rights. Women have the right to go forward, develop the highest potential possible, and provide benefits for many people. Let's move the new Kartini. Let's move the Indonesia woman. Your body may be confined, but the soul and mind must fly freely. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all in good health. Thank you for having me here. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Adam Syamulana. I'm from 12 Science 2, and for this storytelling contest, I'm going to tell a story about a national hero named Sukarno. The first president of Republic of Indonesia, Sukarno, who was usually called Bung Karno, was born in Blitar, East Java, June 6, 1901, and died in Jakarta, June 21, 1970. His father was named Raden Sukemi Sosro Diharjo, and his mother Ida Ayu Nyomanrai. During his life, he had 3 wives and was blessed with 8 children. From his wife Fatmawati has Guntur, Megawati, Rahmawati, Sukmawati, and Guru. From his wife Hartini has Taufan and Bayu, while from his wife Ratnasari Dewi, a Japanese descendant whose real name is Naoko Nemoto, has Kartika's child. Sukarno's childhood was only a few years, living with his parents in Blitar. During elementary school until graduation, he lived in Surabaya, boarding house in the house of Haji Umar Said Tokroaminoto, veteran politician founder of Syarikat Islam. Then go to school at HBS, Hogere Burger School. While studying at HBS, Sukarno had galvanized his nationalistic spirit. After graduating from HBS in 1920, he moved to Bandung and continued to THS, Technische Hogeschool or High Engineering School, which is now called ITB. He won the title Insinyur on May 25, 1926. Later, he formulated the Marhanism teaching and founded PNI, Indonesian National Party, on July 4, 1927, with the aim of an independent Indonesia. As a result, the Dutch detained him in Sukamiskin Prison, Bandung, on December 29, 1929. 8 months later, he was trialed in his defense entitled Indonesia Menggugat. He was showed the apostasy of the Dutch, a nation that claimed to be more advanced. His defense made the Dutch even more angry, so that in July 1930, PNI was dissolved. After being released in 1931, Sukarno joined Partindo and at the same time led him. As a result, he was arrested again by the Dutch and exiled to Ende Flores in 1933. 4 years later, he was transferred to Bengkulu. After a long struggle, Bung Karno and Bung Hatta proclaimed the independence of the Republic of Indonesia on August 17, 1945. In the BPO-PKI session on June 1, 1945, Sukarno proposed an idea about the basis of the state, which he called Pancasila. On August 17, 1945, Sukarno and Muhammad Hatta proclaimed the Indonesian independence. In the PPKI session, August 18, 1945, Sukarno was elected by acclamation as the first president of the Republic of Indonesia. Previously, he also succeeded in formulating the Pancasila, which later became the basis ideology of the unitary state of the Republic of Indonesia. He tried to unite the archipelago. Even Sukarno tried to gather nations in Asia, Africa, and Latin America with the Asian African Conference in Bandung in 1955, which later developed into a non-aligned movement. The G30S PKI rebellion gave birth to a great politician crisis which caused the MPR's rejection of its responsibility. Instead, the MPR appointed Soeharto as acting president. His health continued to deteriorate, which on Sunday, June 21, 1970, he died at RSPAD. He was buried in Wisma Yaso, Jakarta, and buried in Blitar, East Java, near the tomb of his mother, Ida Ayu Nyomanrai. The government conferred it as the Proclamation Hero. The end. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, pleased to meet you. My name is Gabriel from 11th Social 2, and I'm here to tell you a story about a hero of the day. I was hiding behind a wall. Enemies were firing everywhere. Many of my fellow soldiers were already dead and were falling in front of my eyes. With each fall, I was losing courage. Then came a time where I had to decide whether to go forward and finish and complete the mission given by the army, or to save my fellow men who were now prisoners of the war, or to decline the orders and run away. This is the time to decide, and I decided. I regained my courage. I wanted to face my son like a hero, not like a coward. For me, it was better to die than to run away. I came forward of the wall, fired furiously from everywhere, and ran towards the enemy. This was the time where all lessons learned in the army are to be forgotten, and believe in you. Believe in what you deserve. Believe in your destiny. After killing many of the strangers who are now my enemies because of no purpose, I captured one of the soldiers but on the other force. Where are they? I was panting heavily while talking. Who? He was panting more heavily than me because fear of death. As I stand at his face, I said, "The prisoners of war, where are they? Where are the prisoners of war? Where are my comrades?" He directed to me the way. When I was walking with him, I realized that from my army, only I was left in the scenario. I had to rescue as fast as possible before the reinforcements of enemy's army and rejoin my force that was waiting outside. He took me to the stairs which leads underground. Down there, you will find what you want. Please, release me now. He begged me. I did what he begged, and this was my mistake. Big mistake. I proceeded to go downwards, slowly and steadily. My gun was ready to fire at any moment. Suddenly, I felt a foul smell of dead humans. My heart was pounding heavily. Was the people for whom I did all this were dead? Was my mission failed? Now I was at the bottom. I searched for my men. Frankly, I was searching for their bodies. I had no hope of seeing them alive. Suddenly, someone tightly held me from behind. I struggled and kicked between the legs. I turned around, about to shoot, but stopped. His uniform resembles to ours. Oh my God, he was one of my fellow men. He told me where the other POW were and how were they fighting underground and killing the enemies. I found around 15 of our men. We, without any plan, just hiding and running towards the enemy and running towards the gate outside, which a helicopter was waiting to rescue us, all of us. When we were very near the exit gate, I turned around and I saw the enemy reinforcement coming behind us. It was impossible for us to run before they come. This was the time for the second decision, whether to run or to save my fellow army men, to save my team. I chose the second option. I ordered my fellow men to retreat and run towards the helicopter. It was I was there to face the enemy all by myself, alone. It was impossible to fight using those bullets. I had to search for another option. I opened a pin of grenades, opened the pin of every grenade that I use and ran towards the enemy. They started firing on me. The first bullet hit me right side of my stomach. An image of sun playing in the field was in front of me. He is running towards me with joy. Then the second bullet on the left leg. Dad, will you please teach me how to ride the bicycle? His voice was coming in my ears from nowhere. Then the third and fourth crossed my head. I will teach you, son. I will. After 1 year, one of the prisoners who were helped to escape by that soldier came to meet the son of that soldier. His son was around 8 years old. He told him the story of his father and told him how he saved 15 lives on that day. He came to approach the soldier, the son, and told the son, "He was the hero of the day, son, hero of the day." He told to the soldier's son, "He was not hero of the day. He was the hero of the millennium." And then his son started to cry. The end. And this is for what we can have to the story. The true soldier fights not because what he hates, what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. This is all from my story. Thank you for everyone who is listening. I hope you to have a nice day. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, My name is Erlangga Wirapati Chandranaya from social class grade 11. I'm going to tell you a story about an Indonesian national hero, which is Raden Dewi Sartika. Long time ago, there lived an Indonesian national hero. Her name was Dewi Sartika. Dewi Sartika was the pioneer of education for women, was recognized as a national hero by the government of Indonesia in 1966. Dewi Sartika was the daughter of the husband-wife Raden Soma Negara and Raden Ayu Raja Permas. Time became governor in Bandung. Soma Negara never opposed the government of the Netherlands East Indies. Therefore, he got dumped in Ternate. Forgive me, Dewi. I can't live longer with you because of this condition. Don't leave me, father. Please don't leave me alone. Sorry, I must leave you, honey. Your uncle will take care for you from now. Alright, okay. Live happily there, thanks. Finally, Dewi entrusted to her uncle Pati Arya Cicalengka. In the childhood, Dewi educators already showed talent and tenacity to achieve a progress. I believe I can show my talent to achieve my progress, and I also believe I can teach the children to get an education, said Dewi confidently. While playing in the back building of Kapatihan, she often demonstrated practices in school, learning to read, write, and Dutch language to children of the Kapatihan maid. Board train, booth, enclosure, and broken tiles made study aids. When she grew adult, Dewi went back again to her mother in Bandung. Soul has grown increasingly led her to reach her goal. It was driven also by her uncle, the Regent Marta Negara, who did have the same desire. However, despite the desire shared by her uncle, did not make it necessarily can reach her goal. Corrupt indigenous women at that time made her uncle have trouble and worry. I'm worried if the girls can go to school and can't prove their goals, Dewi. I have good news for you. Okay, I will allow you to build school for girls, said her uncle. Thanks, my uncle. I'm proud of it, said Dewi. Finally, Dewi was allowed to build a school for girls. Since 1902, Dewi has pioneered education for women in a small room at the back of her mother's house in Bandung. Before Dewi taught female members, crochet cooking, sewing, reading, writing, and so on become the subject matter. She opened School Wife on January 1904. Then 1910, the school name changed to Kautaman Wife School, while in 1914, the school name changed again to Raden Dewi School. In this girls' school, students learned the skills of women in addition to general subjects. There was also taught classes Islam, which was not taught in school Western style. I think the school is growing better, said Dewi happily. Because this school had grown, she opened the school in various cities such as Bogor, Kudat, Serang, even in West Sumatra. Therefore, the Dutch East Indies government presented a Gold Star Award for her service. During the Japanese occupation, Raden Dewi suspected NICA until she was banished to the Garut family to Cineam. In Cineam, Tasikmalaya, she died on September 11, 1947, leaving 6 children. The end. Thanks for listening to my story. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Beats Music. Wave Beats Music. Wave Beats Music. Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for everybody who's already watched the competition, the storytelling competition for all this time. Now let's continue the second competition, the speech competition. And now let us start. And I forgot my line.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hanif Zafran from the class 11 IPA 2. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing good. Today I want to speak about the importance of courtesy and politeness in our lives. Before we go to the main topic, Let me explain a little meaning of courtesy and politeness in my own words. Courtesy and politeness is a person's attitude where they can put themselves to interact people or a person with a good behavior. As we know, politeness was a really important attitude to have in our lives. A person with polite attitude will gain more respect in society. Politeness is also an important attitude to grow in a person since childhood. That attitude will bring a person to be well accepted by the society and make it easier to achieve success. On the other side, people with impolite attitude will be disrespected by the society and could even make hatred along the society. Other than a matter of feelings, politeness is also a common culture that is taught in every people. Parents used to educate their child to be polite so that they have a good behavior to the other people. There are many kinds of politeness that we can do in society, starting for small things such as saying excuse me when we passing someone who is sitting, saying salam when meeting an older people, lower your voice when talking to the older people, and many more polite culture that was taught in our society. Lastly, it is all about ourselves and our attitude, where and when we should speak softly, to when we should lower ourselves, and when we have to act matter to the younger. This is a reminder to everyone and my own self the importance of being polite. Thank you, and I hope we can make a better society with courtesy and politeness in our school. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable to judge, to teacher and all the students here. First of all, let's say our praise and gratitude only to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala due to His grace and blessings upon us that on this good time and occasion we all can still gather in this place in the best of our health. Salawat and salam we will say to our greatest prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, his friends, and his followers. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, in this opportunity, I would like to deliver my speech on the title Bhinneka Tunggal Ika that should not be forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Indonesian citizens, our ancestors were also Indonesian. Therefore, we must have national spirit and always love Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the biggest countries in the world. This country, which has thousands of the islands from Sabang to Merauke, also has a variety of culture, different ethnicities and religions. However, these differences do not make Indonesia is divided. In accordance with its motto Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, although they are different, they are still united. The motto Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is contained in the Garuda symbol. Ladies and gentlemen, the current condition of diversity of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika has weakened because now many Indonesia people are not united. For example, such as looking down on someone because they have a different race from the others. Then, what is very unfortunate is when people argue about their religion because it's one of the factors causing the division of Indonesia. Can you imagine if this continue, maybe there will be war between regions in Indonesia. Therefore, we must reaffirm the power of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, starting with easy things such as not demeaning the other people, respecting other people's religion, telling others not to insult others. So let's start respecting each other because it is the key to strengthen the power of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, and so that what the thing we don't want will not happen. That's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, praise and gratitude. Let's pray for the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that we gather together in order to commemorate her days in Yacht Pledge. We always pray and honor our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and may we receive intercession on the last day later. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that Indonesia is a country that has a lot of diversity. The fact is that Indonesia has more than 1,000 tribes from Sabang to Merauke. However, these differences do not make Indonesia divided or separated, according to its motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. But do we know what is the meaning Bhinneka Tunggal Ika really is? Why Bhinneka Tunggal Ika? It's so important to us, and what can we do to maintain Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, especially for this generation? Ladies and gentlemen, the first one is, what is the meaning of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika? So, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is the motto of the Indonesian nation, which is written on the symbol of the Indonesia state, which is Garuda Pancasila. This phrase comes from the old Japanese language, which means different but still one. The word Bhinneka comes from two words that have been coded, namely Bina, separated or different, and Ika is that. The single word means one. Literally, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika can be interpreted that difference, that one. Which means, even though it's diverse, in a sense, the Indonesian people are still one, united. This motto is used to describe the unity and integrity of the nation and the unitary state of the Republic of Indonesia, which consists of various customs and culture, languages, races, ethnicities, religions, and beliefs. Now, the second one is why Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is so important to us. Because this motto can unite the various differences that exist in society. This motto implies that differences are not barriers or dividers, but rather become a unifier of all existing differences. Not only that, but also Bhinneka Tunggal Ika able to foster a sense of nationalism in each individual. So that's why people try to do the slightest thing for their country as a form of love. For example, study hard, obey the rule, maintain public facilities, and pay taxes. Now, the last one is, what can we do to maintain Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, especially for this generation? As we know, Indonesia consists of many different backgrounds, both ethnic, diversity, taste, culture, religion, ethnicity, gender, and intergroup. The diversity of the Indonesian people can be well established because of the unity and integrity. Unity in Indonesia is getting stronger with the assistance of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is the motto of the Indonesian people, which means that although they are different, but they are still one. In addition to being strength for Indonesian people, diversity can also trigger problem if there is no unity and integrity in society. Therefore, the community must unite so they can live in peace and harmony. There is three ways we can maintain Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. The first one is respect to each other. Mutual respect for each other is one of the simple ways that can be applied to maintain diversity. If this applied in every day, people can live side by side without any fights or conflicts. The second one is applying the motto of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. The community can apply the motto Bhinneka Tunggal Ika to maintain the unify of diversity in diversity. The motto Bhinneka Tunggal Ika teaches the Indonesian people to uphold unity without discriminating against culture, religion, language, ethnicity, and other. The third one is embracing to each other. We can also apply the attitude of embracing each other to maintain the diversity. Society should not bring each other down. The community should embrace each other to create diversity and unity so that it's continue to run well. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, let's apply the value of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika together so that it can advance this nation and country in the future. Before I close this speech, I want to convey a quote from one of the Indonesian national hero, namely Tan Malaka. He said that the purpose of education is to sharpen intelligence, strengthen willpower, and refine feelings. That's all for me, and hopefully the speech delivered is useful for all of us all. Wal taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings, respected teachers and friends. I am Mikhail Muhammad Zaki from 11 Social 2. On this very opportunity, I'm here to speak on the topic, the importance of courtesy and politeness in our lives. But first and foremost, what is courtesy and politeness actually? And why do people search for it so much? Well, courtesy and politeness both have a really similar meaning, but to simplify it, it means being polite and showing good manners towards others. Like, for example, listening carefully to the people you're talking to, and not being on your phone all the time, and even using basic words like thank you, please, and excuse me. Politeness, good behavior, manners, and courtesy all complement each other very well. Everyone searches for it because with just a few words and action, it makes instant impact on others. It will make people feel very valued. It will make people very comfortable and respected. I mean, everyone wants to feel respected too, you know. And on top of that, it also gives you a good image of other people's perspective, making people feel you as a good person. Learning to show courtesy and politeness is also a must-do for everyone who yearns to make progress in their lives. And in the end, not only being courteous and polite benefits other people by making them feel better, but it also makes our lives brighter. Giving love and respect to everyone around you without withstanding their status, the same will come back to you. People are likely to treat you the same way you treat them. You'll feel better talking to people and become more comfortable at socializing. So that's why it's very important, and that's why people seek it, and it's really one of the key elements for a better life. And first of all, I would like to conclude by saying, never forget, although it's not wrong with being ambitious, you will get to manage better if you mix your ambition with some courtesy and politeness. It is very crucial that other people like you for being you and to get ahead. And being polite and courteous is one simple way to make others like you. This is Mika. Thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Beats Music. Wave Beats Music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The way you talk says about you. You are what you speak. Some of you may be familiar with those quotes, but there are still questions, wandering around, trying to understand what it means, even though it sounds simple. Why? My name is Alquina Carla from 10-3, and before we observe further, let's take a moment to praise and express gratitude for the presence of God Almighty. Due to His blessings and mercy, we can gather in this contest. And thank you for the honorable judges that welcoming me today. Right now, I would like to discuss the chosen topic, what your choice of words says about your personality. Ladies and gentlemen, the way we talk is probably not something most of us spend a lot of time thinking about. We're not aware of who we are or what people think we are when we open our mouth to speak. Even though when it comes to communication, what we're saying is as important as how we say it. A thoughtful question once asked, what if the way we speak says a lot about who we are, what we value, and who's in, who's out? There are no relevant answers to that question, but I suggest you to keep that in mind. I think maybe some of you assume that I'm going to talk about the curse words and their effects. Well, it is related to my speech, but that will not be the point of my speech today. Now, let me demonstrate something. Imagine that we're in a situation where the sun is unbearably hot, the weather is so hot outside, and you reply with, "Oh, it's too hot, I'm sweating so bad, blah blah blah," and more complaints. Then the whole day went really bad. Compare it with, "Oh, it's sunny day, I might go to swim, I might get a tan, I might do some fun," and the day becomes the greatest day ever. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Words affect action. Words have the power to alter your mindset and cause you to act unconsciously in accordance with what you say. In the end, your chosen words can become some sort of habit that justifies your personality. So, how can we change our speaking habits? Simple: intention and belief. You have to have the intention to change and the belief that you can change. When you start blending your belief and words together, they can become very powerful. If you think that your choice of word has been poor, always believe that you could always improve. Be better or stay better. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, the honorable judges and all the audiences. My name is Fashal Alina from 10-3. I am here to talk about how important politeness and courtesy in our life. First of all, I'd like to thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of him, we were able to attend this contest in Dian Didaktika Youth Festival. Secondly, may salawat and salam always be delivered to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Before I start, I would like to ask a question. Have you ever saw someone being extremely rude to you? Because I personally have. One day, I was just hanging out with my friends, but then this one person said something bad about me. A rude comment, unwanted comment, and it made me overthink all day long. Sometimes I feel uncomfortable being around this person, because she always has something negative to say. Ladies and gentlemen, politeness and courtesy is very important in our life. By being polite, someone will be respected and appreciated. It is easier to teach about politeness and courtesy in early age. Someone said being raised right is how we treat people, our manners and respect. Parents should start teaching their children about politeness as soon as possible, because this habit takes a long time. Having good manners will teach children respect and help others to respect them. For the example, by saying thank you, please, or sorry, shows an appreciation and thoughtfulness to other person. Most likely, children with politeness and courtesy have better social skills. They tend to be liked more by their friends because of their good manners. Ladies and gentlemen, Clarence Thomas once said, good manners will open doors that the best education cannot. So, what's the point of having an excellent grade, a perfect score, if you don't even have a politeness? It happens to students these days, either to a friend, classmate, teacher, or even the security. The actual smart people not only good with high grades, they must be known good with attitude too. They always know how to respect each other. That's why smart people are highly respected. Therefore, we must be careful how we treat everyone, and we should know what respect means to others. The way people communicate to each other can show their politeness and courtesy. There's a quote from Hussein Nisha saying, treat people the way you want to be treated. Talk to people the way you want to be talked to. Respect is earned, not given. If we can be respect to others, then how can we be respected? Probably that is enough for my speech. I apologize if there's any mistake. And thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I want to thank the judges for giving me this opportunity. And before I introduce my name, have you ever just got into a museum or see a painting and just think, what does that painting mean?
Then you would read the description of the painting and interpret it in your own way of thinking. But no matter how much you observe it, the meaning and feelings that you get will be different from the painter or from other observers. Well, that's what I think of a person. A painting, a thing that you can't fully understand but can get affected even from what's there on the surface. Painting descriptions are just like human words. Sweet, but sometimes can be scary, depends on what it means to you. Interesting, right? Well, first, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Kansa from Class 10-2, and today I'll be talking about what are your choice of words says about your personality. If the eyes are the window to the soul, then words are the gateway to the mind. Words represent thoughts. The closest one person can get to understanding another person's thoughts is to listen to the words that he or she speaks or writes. Certain words reflect the behavioral characteristics of the person who spoke or wrote them. James Penn Baker, a psychology professor at the University of Texas at Austin, who co-developed the Linguistic Inquiry and Word Count LIWC system. It is a system that can actually read someone's personality by reading speech patterns, conjunctions, and function words that made a difference. So it's not only the meaning of the word, but also how you say it. For example, I won another award. The word another conveys the notion that the speaker won one or more previous awards. This person wanted to ensure to other people to know that he or she won at least one other award, thus bolstering his or her self-image. This person may need the adulation of others to reinforce his or her self-esteem. Observers could exploit this vulnerability by using flattery and other ego-enhancing comments. Words can change your brain. The author Newberg and Waldman explain how a single word can affect your brain. Positive words encourage cognitive brain function, while negative words slow our cognitive function. They say a single word has the power to influence the expression of genes that regulate physical and emotional stress. Positive words build resilience and calm body. Negativity regenerates internal stress in the body and a feeling of hopelessness. This affects motivation. Positive thinking enables us to recover from anxiety more easily. Even one negative word triggers fear and all the sensations that come with that. That's why watching the words you choose to come out of your mouth is important. In fact, the worst bullying cases are verbal bullying. One single word could turn someone's life upside down. So if you think it's okay to say bad words and turn someone's lives into a living hell, then I think you're a bad person. Also, be careful on how you say something. They might misinterpret it. That's all from me. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I start my speech, please let me give it a thank to Allah for the opportunity given to me today. Stand here facing to all amazing people, and may Allah always bless all of you who are willing to take the time listen to me speaking right now. Show and do good things right now, and don't delay or be ignored because time will never be the same again. By William Penn. Hello, my name is Nadra Kamila from X4, and today I'm going to talk about the importance of courtesy and politeness in our lives. In my point of view, kindness not only changes personality, but has a very noble effect from the character. What matters is the character in the person. Someone who's kind and behaves very politely to everyone, and everyone would like it. But rude and disrespectful people, no one's like them. You need to know, manners are not tied to that person's spatial class, because in this time society, it's divided into class, upper class, lower class, and middle class. Courtesy is free from that class, and it's Allah gift to mankind. Whoever is poor or rich, if they have good manners, then they will be successful in life. Modesty does not live in this world anymore, because in its present is kindness and good deeds. In my opinion, manners are beneficial, because when you have a good behavior to others, then the result is other people also respect you, which will make your life happy for the rest of your life. Respect for elders, love for the younger one, take care of neighborhood, help parents, friends, classmates, are also included in good manners. Talking to others in a polite manner also shows courtesy. By doing all this in life, we will be happier, more pleasant, and comfortable. Politeness is very important in life, because when we are polite, people have a good impression of us, and respect us automatically follows, not hither. Learning manners is a must for everyone who wants to move toward in life. Modesty is a small investment that pays off well and big. In social life, polite behavior is very important, because in every social life, of course, it will be accompanied by norms and ethic, and that will be closely related. Well, now I want to tell you some small things that you can do so that you could apply manners and courtesy in your life. First, maybe beg when you ask someone for something, or thank you when someone does something for you, and say sorry when you do something wrong. This general courtesy should be applied regardless of how minor and major the act, and apology should be applied whether the act was intentional or not. Well, now I already give you my opinion about the importance of courtesy and politeness in our lives, which I think is very valuable and is very valuable things to apply. If you can be kind and considerate for one day, then you can for another. It won't cost you a penny in the world starting today by Dale Carnegie. So let's all practice the same, because it's a shame if we put it off. That's all from me. Sorry if there were some mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Beats music.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Davina Putri Rolaya. I'm from 11th grade, Science 2. So on this opportunity, I want to talk about unity in diversity. Before I start my speech, let's say our praise and gratitude for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for this opportunity. Indonesia is a country that has many ethnic, racial, religious, cultural, linguistic, and customs diversity in it. The differences that the Indonesian people have are actually a priceless national asset. This is because not many countries have it, and we, as Indonesian people, must be able to take advantage of existing differences as well as possible. The diversity that Indonesia has can have a bad impact, but it can also have a good impact if we can use it well. We should be able to live in harmony, peace, tolerance, and diversity, because we are born into a diverse nation. But in the development of history, a lot of diversity has emerged. But once again, the key is we have to be more united. One way to maintain and care for these diverse differences is with Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means different but still united. It's the motto of the Indonesian state, which is used as the basis for realizing the unity and integrity of the Indonesian state, where we must apply it in everyday life, namely by way of life, mutual respect for each other. Therefore, we as the people of Indonesia must continue to maintain the integrity of togetherness in building a pluralistic unitary state. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika has a very important role for Indonesia, one of which is used as a unifier of the nation in order to improve the status of the Indonesian state. Then, one of the efforts that must be taken is to increase awareness of the mindset of the Indonesian people to use their constitutional rights in gathering and association, and also encouraging people to use religion more as the basis of life in socializing, which also emphasize that God is the purpose of their life, as stated in religion, held by every individual in society. Along with the times, public awareness of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is getting dimmer. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is not enough just to be a slogan or concept to build a country. There must be a new way that is more adapted to today's life. One way that can be done is by holding celebrations such as on the day of Youth Pledge Day, we can hold competitions using certain customs so that from there we can preserve the diversity of Indonesia. All of us must take our respective roles in maintaining our motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. As students, of course, there are many things that we can apply in order to maintain unity. We must not discriminate in friendship, even though we are different ethnicity or religion, we are still brothers. And we must also respect school friends who are Muslim. Even though there are different religions, ethnicities, and language in one school, we must united. Therefore, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika must be kept intact because we have realized the importance of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika for Indonesia. So it is our duty as the people of Indonesia to maintain it. The integrity of a region is the main strength in the state, followed by mutual respect for each other's differences, because it is true that the state of Indonesia contains various differences in it. Therefore, mutual respect is the foundation of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Maintaining and spreading Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is the obligation of all of us, that peace and harmony can truly be realized in Indonesia. That's all that I can tell. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, thank you for having me. My name is Shazafira Naflahuda. Today I am going to be speaking about unity in diversity in Indonesia. To begin, I am going to define the meaning of unity and diversity. Unity is the quality or state of being one, single, and whole, while diversity is any dimension that can be used to differentiate group and people from one another. From its meaning, you could see there is no correlation between these two. Then why is unity and diversity ever exist? Now, before I'm going to answer this question, I need all of you to look around this room. Does all of us come from the same race, same ethnic, same ancestor? The answer is no, we don't. That's why people have developed faith in such uniting concept. Irrespective of our difference, we still care and respect each other. With such virtue develop, people can easily eradicate civil challenge like discrimination and oppression from society. As for Indonesia, did you know that Indonesia has 37 provinces, 415 districts, 93 cities, 1,340 tribes, and 1,000 local language? The identity characteristic of our ancestors should not be forgotten. However, the diversity that we have could provoke fracture in our nation. For example, one of the racial conflicts in Indonesia that is recorded in history, the history of the ethnic Chinese that occurred in 1998. One of these conflicts occurred because of the assumption that the ethnic Chinese community was not part of the Indonesian people, resulting in people breaking various facilities and shoplifting. This problem caused by ethnocentrism, which means a group of individuals may see another culture as wrong or immoral. To solve this problem, we could use what Founding Father Mr. Sukarno stated, three foundations to keep unity, trust, respect, and justice. A trust as basic value to believe other, a respect as our sense to honor not to fail other, and justice as equal treatment to other. We, the people of Indonesia, show unity despite all the difference it will. It will in turn help maintaining national integration. People can live and work together peacefully. As for Indonesia motto said, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. We are different but we are still one. Let's unite together and spread love for a better world. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings to all judges and students. May I introduce myself? My name is Rameza Alia Fralaska from 11th grade. And in this opportunity, I would like to bring a speech about unity in diversity. Unity in diversity, a sentence that defines many things. Unity in diversity as a concept that signifies unity among individuals who have certain differences among them. These differences can be on the basis of culture, language, ideology, religion, class, ethnicity, and etc. The terms of unity in diversity have applied to so many things in our daily life because it has a great role, especially in integration. The importance of unity in diversity are, first, for national integration. Unity in diversity is very important for a country because it is easy to disintegrate people with different views and ideologies. If there is unity among the people, despite their differences, it will always be impossible for force to disintegrate the nation. The unity of citizens play a significant role in maintaining peace and prosperity in a country. Number 2, for development and growth. Unity in diversity plays a vital role in a country's development because a country that is integrated will always move on the path of development. It will face fewer internal issues than a country that is socially unstable and divided on different terms. Number 3, peace. Internal conflicts can be sparked by diversity, but unity in diversity is critical for ensuring peaceful coexistence among individuals of many cultures and origins. In Indonesia, we have applied the terms of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika for such a long time. It is called Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means berbeda-beda tapi tetap satu. Even though we're different, but we're still one. In our country, we have so many languages, cultures, religions, and etc. Indonesia is very unique with their diversity. This challenges us to keep being in one unity. Unity in diversity teaches us that despite our differences in caste, creed, or race, these differences cannot keep us apart, and we must remain eternally united to better our country. This is the most unusual occurrence that has occurred in our country. It not only keeps the nation unified and strengthened, but it also keeps the belief in coexistence with love, peace, and respect alive in us. The country's particular culture, traditions, festival, music, and dance make it an energizing and incredible country in the world. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Beats music. dance music.